And many of you know Evita from the website, from the summer school.
Hi.
Many of you have met her in person at different things. And she is a dancer, professional dancer. In fact, we've actually just today been working on her Guggenheim commissioned video project. Evita had been doing some projects with the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao and New York, and because we're all locked down, they commissioned some people to do some projects on video. So
Yeah, I'm very grateful. It was a very generous thing. You know, they've got donors, and so they basically commissioned some artists to produce work, and I'm super grateful for it. And it actually debuts Monday evening, so in a few days you'll be able to see it on the Guggenheim Works and Process YouTube channel.
Works and Process. Hi, Dave. Dave said hi. Maybe Dave, maybe have a quick Google of the Works and Process
Oh yeah,
Guggenheim link. Maybe you can post that in the chat. That'd be great.
cool. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, and so Evita is a dancer, and she's very.
Lots of people saying
Everyone's
hi.
saying hi. She's. I keep looking at the wrong camera.
Which camera should we look at?
This one.
Okay.
She knows all about taking care of her body, and I'm the worst. I'm such a hypocrite in this whole situation because she always wants me to do yoga, and I've done it maybe a handful of times at best. But I asked Evita to come to the summer school 2 years ago and run a class in the morning to get people warmed up and stretching, and it was really, really popular. So we're going to do something a little bit similar today. We'll probably have I'm going to let Evita tell you all about it when we start, but for now it's just saying hello from everywhere. So we've got Martha says it's sunny and steamy in St. Louis.
In St. Louis. Hi, Nikki.
Nikki says hi.
Hi.
Jeff, hello. Brent's in Pennsylvania. Steven's out there in Colorado. See, I don't need people to tell me anymore. This is like a quiz I can take.
That's pretty impressive, Simon. You know where everybody is.
Spilla is in North Carolina? No, South Carolina. Oh, she's Charleston. Yeah. Sultan is in Saudi Arabia.
Wow, that's amazing. So it's later for you right now.
Georg gave me a hint and said Netherlands. He's in the Netherlands. So
nice.
It's really all over the place.
Nice.
Harvey is either in New York or in California. Roger, there's Roger.
Hi, Roger.
He's all the way up there in New Hampshire.
Super cool, Carlos. Nice to see
Parashat
everybody.
from Italy. Yeah.
Wow, very cool.
So really nice to.
It's a truly worldwide show.
It's an event.
It's an event.
It's a weekly show event. Harvey said he's in LA.
LA right now.
Harvey is bops between the two coasts, but I think that's the better option right now, Harvey.
Oh, okay. Matthew says, I'm here for extra points. What time is it here, Simon? Well, first you have to know where Matthew is.
You called me out, Matthew. I'm not sure where you are right now. That one, I don't know. There's Gary. Gary Lee. I can tell you what time zone he's in. He's across the river.
Good to, last time I saw Gary, we were at the New York Classical Guitar Society at that beautiful location. It was the Japanese. How do you pronounce?
Oh, the Tenri.
The Tenri Center, so pretty, and I found that beautiful robe. Yeah, it was great. Oh, hello.
Martin's is from Sweden. He's in Sweden.
Wow.
I think he's in Malmo.
No. Malmo is in Denmark.
No. It's on the Swedish side. No, it's near the border. I think,
Yes, it is. Okay.
But maybe I'm not sure if that's where.
I like
Martin
saying
is.
that Malmo.
Well,
I can say that for this little session, everybody. I have to be very clear with everyone. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not any kind of like professional body person. I'm not even a yoga teacher or trained in any capacity like that. However, I deal with a lot of body stuff just for myself all the time. I mean, my whole life as a dancer, I have just, luckily I've not had any very serious, terrible injuries. Thank God. I feel super lucky for that. But in a way, I'm kind of constantly, mending, doctoring, stretching, massaging parts of the body that do get strained and overuse. And I gotta say, right now, the hardest thing is actually all the sitting and sitting in front of computer screens.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's actually been a really tough thing for me. I'm used to, running around New York City, and I'm used to going to rehearsals and spending a good amount of hours of my day moving and dancing. So I've really been having to kind of mend myself and give myself extra time to make sure that my spine and my neck and my shoulders feel good, which is probably useful for guitarists, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's going to. I mean, I know how popular this was at the summer school, so I have the feeling that I hope you'll join Evita. So you're going to kind of run through a few different stretching routines, very practical ones, and I hope you join them on all of them and take up. Maybe you might even do some. You can do some super hard challenges at the end, like
maybe
some
no
pretzel pose. But we are planning on filming maybe a new stretching set of videos for the Academy. So this would be good to get also to get some feedback and questions afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah.
So yeah, we got. Let me just check in.
So does it turn out Matthew is actually in the UK? Because if I had known where Matthew was, I could have told you what time zone you are in. I pretty much know almost all the time zones right now because my collection of collaborators is all over the world. My dance partner, Michael Jagger, he's in Sydney, Australia right now. And I have a lot of friends in Europe, and I have literally all the time zones in my mind right now, especially with the live streams and trying to meet up with different sessions. So had I known where Matthew was...
Matthew just said he's in Ballarat. He's in Australia.
Oh, there you go. So then I can tell you right now that if you're on the West Coast, it is 6:07 in the morning for you, unless you're in Adelaide, which is half an hour off, or unless you're in Perth, which is 2 hours earlier. Boom!
But do you know where Ballarat is?
No, not at all. Not, I've never heard of Ballarat. I'm very curious now. What is Ballarat?
It's a place. It's in Victoria. So you got but it's where Ramona lives in that state.
Western. Okay.
No. It's on the east. It's south of Sydney.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I meant to say. Eastern coast of Australia.
Yes.
Which is where Sydney, Melbourne is.
Yeah.
So yes, it's then 6:08 in the morning for you.
Matthew, why don't you give us say Melbourne, and then Matthew can rate your pronunciation skills for an American.
Wait, no,
citizen.
I have trained very hard. I believe the correct pronunciation is Melbourne. Melbourne.
Yeah.
Melbourne.
Good.
Not Melbourne.
Yeah, yes.
Melbourne. Near Melbourne. Okay, cool. What kind of dancer are you, Evita? You do Argentine tango? Amazing, Lucien. That's very cool.
You know what we should do? I mean, we're on the interwebs. We should should play a video of your dancing.
Oh God, you should have asked me, and I would have told you what video. This is all very impromptu.
What about that man? Or
no? Oh gosh, now I'm on the spot. Lucien, I'm a Lindy Hop dancer, which is primarily, you can also categorize me as a swing dancer. So big band swing music from the 30s and 40s era. That's like the main thing that I do. And I teach all over the world, and I perform, and I've had the opportunity to be in different shows that celebrate it. And then as of recent, I have been collaborating with a lot of other different types of dance and music, but I'm still using my skills. And as you know, probably from Argentine tango, a lot of it is improvised. It's not choreographed. There's lead and follow. It's a really powerful skill. And I have a great respect for Argentine tango.
What about this one?
Which one? That's like a comedy act, but it's a super cute number. I haven't seen this in forever. Let's watch it.
Okay, so this is it's Lindy Hop, but it's kind of
my partner
narrative based.
Yeah, my partner and I, Michael, there's what we teach, which is like the social art form, and then we do performances, which are very much based in story and character. So this is very much sort of a comical story, which I haven't seen in maybe 8 years. So I don't even remember or know. Oh gosh.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm nervous.
So here we go. Sorry, I didn't plan on doing fancy stuff here.
Yeah,
so
me neither. We're trying to figure out how to share the screen accurately with you so that you hear.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You would be like heaven to touch. I want to hold you so much. At long last love has arrived, and I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. I love you, baby. Don't you think it's quite alright? I need you, baby, to warm the lonely night. I love you, baby. Trust in me when I say, pretty, pretty, pretty baby, don't you bring me down, I pray, my pretty baby. Now that I have found you, stay and let me love you, baby. I love you. Pretty, pretty, pretty baby, don't you bring me down, I pray, my pretty baby. Now that I have found you, stay and let me love you, baby. I love you, you're just too good to be true.
Oh my. Oh my gosh.
So that actually it
Wow.
was great. It was really fun to see that. It's because Evita hasn't seen it in a while, but
Wow.
that
Did you see the little Argentine tango that was not at all Argentine tango, but it was a little like we're trying to give a little like nod to tango?
so that wasn't. Some other time we should show some hardcore Lindy Hop.
That's
sort of
true.
stuff.
That was not
That was sort of
Lindy Hop.
almost Broadway-ish.
Oh yeah, Michael, he was funny.
Yeah.
We're funny.
Anyway, so we hadn't planned that, but obviously just to show you what Evita does as a dancer. It's really wonderful. So
That was also a very long time ago, like close to 8-7 years ago.
right. So we are going to dive in and we're going to do some stretching. And we're going to start with stretching that, well, actually, you know what? I get to relax and take it easy. I'm just going to roll off screen.
Roll off screen.
And leave you with Evita.
Well, okay, so I'm going to move back, everybody, and I'm going to sit down in this little spot right here. This is just it's a little bench that sometimes Simon uses to practice guitar. And if you're at home, you can sit on anything, the couch, a chair, a piano bench, a stool. But it would be nice if your feet are able to be on the ground so that they're not dangling and so you feel supported. So one of the first things that I notice when I'm sitting for too long, and especially when I'm working at the computer, I notice that my shoulders curl forward a lot and my entire head, skull, and my chin dips forward a lot. And maybe you find this too when you're playing classical guitar, because you might find that you're hunched and you're constantly looking over at your fingers and trying to make sure that you're doing things correctly. So one of the most critical first things to do is actually, if you can put your hands on your clavicles, which are the little bones right around your neck at the top of your chest, and if you can just give them a little massage and attention so that you know where that is, and see if you can imagine strings tied around each side, the left and the right, and see if there is a way to lift them up towards the ceiling, just to give a little bit of space in the front body area. And already what you might notice is that your abdominals or your tummy kind of has to pull up and lengthen just a little bit to do this. Now take your hands and then gently go out to the edge of your shoulders. Kind of like if you feel in the bones, you can kind of feel almost the little diving board edge where your fingers could walk off the plank. And so what I'd like to see if you can do is gently with your fingertips, rest them against the shoulders and see if you can pull down. And then maybe see if you can gently nudge or encourage them to pull back. And it doesn't have to be a big dramatic arch or dramatic change. It's just a little bit of a reminder, a very, very gentle recognition of space and length that you can feel across the front of the chest. So you can think about that central point where the clavicles meet, right underneath the chin at the base of the neck. And you can imagine this whole long, beautiful line that stretches open and pulls to the side. Lovely. And right here, let's take a deep breath in. And as you exhale out, see if you can really encourage the shoulders to open and drop back. And we're going to let the hands rest down in our lap. Again, let's take a deep breath here and see if you can do that same lengthening to the side and dropping the shoulders back and down, but without the use of the fingers. So inhale, and then exhale and let the shoulders widen out left to right and even drop back just a little bit. In doing this, you might find a little bit more space in your neck. So take your chin and take your nose and give a couple of little nods, yes. Gently nodding yes. And sometimes I like to think of it as my nose is the drawing figure, and sometimes I like to think of it as my chin. If you think of it as your chin, then sometimes you can kind of recognize a loosening of tension in the jaw if the chin is the initiator of this nodding up and down, which is hard to do as I continue to talk to you. So I'm gonna stop talking for just a moment. And then if you think of the nose as the initiating point, you can almost imagine at the back of the skull, the occipital ridge getting a little bit of a massage. And so if this is feeling okay for you, you can make that a little bit bigger and a little bit slower. And if you're able to incorporate your breath, inhale as you look up and exhale as you look down. And you can go at whatever speed feels good for you, because it's a little bit about movement. It's a little bit about therapeutic, gentle movement in the neck, but it's also a little bit about stretching. So when I'm looking down, I can feel a stretch in the back of my neck. And when I look up to the ceiling, I can feel a little bit of stretch in the neck. So let's do that maybe 3 more times. And if you can, coordinate your breath. Super extra bonus points. And dropping it down. Really nice. So we started by thinking about the front of the chest and dropping the shoulders, and now we've introduced the neck. Let's see if we can take our right ear and gently tip it towards the right shoulder like you're pouring fluid out. And then bring it back to the center and take your left ear and drop it down to your shoulder. So we have a similar sensation here. It's small movements. It's at whatever pace feels good for you. You're remembering to inhale and exhale. And each time you go to the right and the left, you're probably going to experience a little bit of a stretch. And the key is to keep it gentle, because if you've been practicing guitar for a long time, or if you've been sitting at the computer for a long time, you need to introduce gentle motion back into the body without an abrupt, rough entry. And then see if it's possible to make a rounded circle with the head. So I'm gonna go down, over to the side. I'm gonna look up at the ceiling, and I'm gonna go all the way back around. Let's do that again. Dropping the head down, lengthen the back of the neck. A gentle stretch as I pour this side out. When I look up, I'm trying to keep space in the back of my neck. I don't want to crunch or collapse. Let's go the other direction. Reverse this circle to the side. Try to keep a rounded curve in the back of your neck while you look up at the ceiling. To the side and back down to the front. And one more circle. Are you breathing? You gotta ask sometimes. And relax. Really nice. Good, good, good. Now take your gaze, take your focus, and actually look to your right. And come back to the center and look to your left. Good, and we're going to now look again to your right, but take your right hand down by your side. You can press it against the chair or whatever the thing is that you're sitting on, and use it as a gentle form of leverage. As you look to your right again, you can give a little bit more of a rotation, not too much, just a little bit more than the simple turning of the head. Come back to center, and then take your other hand, brace it on whatever you're sitting on, and turn to look, and give yourself a little bit of leverage as you get a little bit more of a twist in the neck and in the upper body. Let's do that one more time, and let's really be sure that we inhale so that your spine has space and length as you do this twist. Ready? So inhale. Looking to the side, we're going to leverage our hand against what we're sitting on. And actually, I've also brought my other hand on the opposite knee to help with that stability. Take a deep breath in again. And when you exhale, turn back to center. And let's do it to the other side. Deep breath in. Start as a gentle look. Brace against your seat. Take your hand, opposite hand to your opposite knee. You can give a little bit of an extra twist or leverage there if it feels good. Take a deep breath in here. And when you exhale, let's come back to the center. Really nice, good. The next thing I want to do is a bigger sort of rib cage stretch. So if you're in a chair that has arms in it, this might be a little bit tougher, but it's okay. You can still just negotiate your elbow onto the arm of your chair. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my left hand on my chair, and I'm going to take my right hand up straight above my head to the ceiling. So the first feeling is that of strength, of length in the shoulder. And I even open a little bit the rib cage. I can imagine the rib cage going like this. Woo. I get a little space in there. And then what I'm going to do is gently reach over to the left diagonal. And the first idea is that, again, I'm keeping length and space. I'm pulling out of the hip while keeping the right hip sitting into my seat. And then I'm gonna bend the elbow and let it melt back down to my side. Ooh, and I already feel the entire right side of my body, even the right arm is kind of awakened and it has more blood flow. Let's do that with the other side. So I prepare my right hand to stabilize my seat. I take my left hand and I'm gonna lift it all the way up straight above my head to the ceiling. And already just that straight line up and down gives me space in my shoulder, and it separates the ribs to give me a little bit more space and length. I'm gonna take this and arc over to the right diagonal in the room. And again, I'm trying to pull out of my waist, out of that hip, but keep my hips or keep my sit bones seated firmly on my seat. And I'm stretching and I'm holding that, and I melt the elbow by bending it and letting it fall back down to my side. Oh, I really like that one. We're gonna do that one more time, except instead of aiming for the diagonal across, if you like, if it feels good, you can stretch further. So brace your hand, the left hand on your seat. The right hand is gonna come straight up and reach for the ceiling like you're gonna grab onto something. Arc over to the left diagonal in the room, and then if you like, if you want, you can go a little bit further and treat it like a rainbow curve. And then you can use your left hand to help press you back up. Once again, bend at the elbow and let it sink back down. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, and let's try it on the other side. Prepare the hand to stabilize you. Your left hand is going to reach up by your head, straight up to the ceiling. And then think of reaching to the corner diagonal. And if it feels good, if you want a little bit more, you can arc like a curve, a rainbow over, and you get a deeper stretch. And your right arm is there to press you back up. Pick up your left arm before the elbow melts down and comes back to your side. Nice. So hopefully that already has kind of helped some blood flow through the arms, through the shoulders, and through the rib cage. Now this one I like a lot. Simon, I might need your help to lower the camera because they're gonna see my knees. So as you're sitting, you're just going to hug your right knee up to your chest. Yeah, whatever is comfortable. And see if you can get your ankle to rest on your left knee. Now everybody's knee is going to have a different flexibility. So some of you might be up here, some of you might be here. It doesn't matter where you are because this will still be good for you. Be sure that you flex your foot, and sometimes I like to take my left hand and hold on to my left toes as I do this. And then while I'm doing this, I'm trying my best to stay forward or to sit more towards the front of the chair so that I don't slump back. You can take also your right hand and support your right knee. And it's almost like you're negotiating with your own hip and your own body how much that hip can open, or how much can you let this knee relax and fall down. I highly recommend taking a lot of deep breaths here, because each time you exhale, you might find that that joint is able to let go a little bit more as you exhale. You also might play around with how much of a cross you have. So I have my ankle right over my knee, but if you want to move it a little bit up, you might be able to do that to give you some more space. Good. Using both of your hands, let's hug that knee back into your chest and then let that leg drop down. And let's do the other side. So hug your left knee up to your chest, and then use your right hand to help support the left ankle as it crosses over this knee. And I really love this sensation of the left hand is supporting my left knee as I talk to myself and I negotiate. How much do I need? How much time do I need to let this hip socket feel a little softer and relax down? And of course, each side feels different. And it's just a nice opening position. And breathing with each exhale, possibly letting that knee drop a little bit further. And we're going to hug this left knee back up and then help it down safely back to the ground. Very nice, very good. We're gonna do the same thing, except we're gonna introduce a twist. So hug your right knee up, hug your right knee up. Take that right ankle across the knee. Find a comfortable position for the hip, that's where it's gonna be. And then you're gonna take your left hand and you're gonna cross your body over to the right knee, and you're gonna introduce a little gentle twist here. You're still trying to keep your sit bones balanced and equal on whatever you're sitting on. But you want to introduce sort of like a flower or some sort of a vegetable. From the earth, it has this little bit of rotation, and then the rotation can spiral upwards to whatever is doable or comfortable for you. Inhale deeply so you give length and height to the spine, and as you exhale, relax and soften into it. One more breath in. And then on the exhale, return back to center. Lovely. Hug that right knee up to your chest. Put it down, and other side. Hug your left knee up to your chest. Help out that ankle by crossing it over to the knee. Take your right hand and stretch to the opposite knee. Deep breath in. And you're going to introduce that twist, starting from the guts below the waist, then the rib cage, then the shoulder, then the neck, then your head, then your gaze. Take a deep breath in so you have height and space in the spine. As you exhale, relax into the twist. And one more time, inhale in. And exhale, return back to the center. Very nice. Hug that left knee up to your chest and drop that down. Good. While we're here, can we have the hands balanced on our knees? And let's take our shoulders and roll them back a few times. 1, up to your ears and back. 2, again 3. We're gonna probably go to 8, 4. Keep rolling. 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Let's reverse this now. 1, and back up to the ears, forward 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, and 8. A little bit of warmth there. Good. Take your right hand and wiggle your fingers in front of you. Good. Take your left hand, and you're going to have your thumb pointing down, and you're going to have your fingers cross each other. So if you have your right hand in front of you, point your right thumb going out towards your right side. And then the left thumb is pointing down in front of you. And you're going to have palm to palm, but then crisscross with the fingers. What we want to do is gently extend our right arm from the elbow and the wrist, and then you're going to apply whatever pressure feels good on your fingers so that you get a stretch in the palm, you get a stretch at the base of the wrist, and you might get a stretch going all the way up into your forearm, depending on how much you do. Be careful to go very slowly and be gentle. I like to wiggle my thumb here. Breathe in. And on this exhale, bend your elbow and bring it back to you. Lovely. And give a rotation to that wrist as it falls down on your knee. Other side. So your left hand comes up in front of you. Your left thumb is pointing to the side, facing out or pointing to the side, to the left. That's what I meant. Your right hand comes and you're palm to palm with the thumb pointing down, but then you're going to crisscross at the fingers. And we're going to straighten this left arm, elbow crease expands, the wrist stretches open, and you can apply whatever pressure feels good onto your fingers. Sometimes I feel that, I really feel that in my palm. And then sometimes, depending on the rotation, be very slow and very gentle here, but you can kind of feel a rotation on the outer edge of the hand or the inner edge. Be very careful though with the exploration of rotation and how much you push. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop the elbow, bring the hand back, rotate the wrist if need be, and let it fall down onto your knees. Okay, one more really great exercise for our arms. You can just make very gentle fists with your hands. And you're going to put the hands in front of you, both hands equally with your thumbs pointing up. Very good. See right now if you can take your shoulders and roll them back into their home base. Keep your spine tall. See if you can pull your belly button in or your waistline in so that you're supporting your lower back. From here, you're going to bend your elbows and take your thumbs back and behind your neck so that they kiss each other. Good. See now if you can lift your elbows further, which means that your thumbs will drop further back down your spine and your elbows are pointing up to the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Exhale out. Keep your belly button in, your waist in so that it's supporting your spine. If you can, imagine that your rib cage is like able to be knitted closer together. And you should just find this is a really big opening stretch underneath the armpits, into the lat muscles and the triceps. And then let's gently bring the thumbs back up and lower everything in front of us and back down to our knees. Oof. So there's a little bit of musculature that we use there to pull them back, but then there's also a big opening feeling there. Great. Let's see here. What else could we do? Another thing that is really just healthy and feels good with the hands, whether we're typing, playing piano, or we're doing all of the stuff with our guitar. See if you can open your hands really, really wide, as if you had on beautiful, fancy gloves. And see if you can expand from the index finger to the pinky. See if you can make them wider. All right? If this would be normal and comfortable, see if your hands can actually expand from the index finger to the pinky wider. One more time. Wah. Good. Now we're going to do a similar thing, but focus on the thumb. From the index to the thumb, you're going to try to expand that webbing as much as you can. So thumbs pointing down and index finger pointing up. Good. And sometimes when I do this, I even have a hyper extension as if my thumb can come back, almost like I'm pushing the palm of my hand down. So the flexion or the opening is going across like a fan, but if you could look from this side, it's also a little bit of an expansion backwards and out. So let's do that at least 4 more times. Your hands are relaxed, ready? And expand outward, 1, and come back, relax, good. And again, expand backwards, outwards, that's 2, and relax. Did I say 4 times? So 2 more times? We got expand backwards, 3. And last one, take a deep breath in and expand backwards, 4. And release. Nice. So again, we're looking for blood flow and we're looking for movement and we're looking for gentle, small things that help massage the mobility back into our joints, our fingers, our wrists, our elbows, our shoulders, our neck. Yeah? Now let's see here. We've been sitting this whole time, but if anybody wants to try out some stretches where we're standing, you're welcome to do that with me now. Or you could just watch. I'm going to move this chair over to the side. And I'm going to stand right about here. Yeah, great. So, man, sitting all day, whether it's, computer work or practicing, your hip flexors probably get really tight. So just simply standing with your feet, they don't have to be together, but they do want to be right underneath your hip sockets. See if, as you're standing, you can pick up your toes or simply wiggle your toes. Oh, they can't see my toes, but they're very cute and they're wiggling right now. Then bend your knees just a little bit to get a little kind of sense of softness in the joint. And then I want you to really lengthen up through your knees so that your quad muscles tighten and you're almost pulling on the kneecaps upwards. While you do this, can you also think about wearing a very tight pair of jeans? And so you have to think about zipping them up, which means you pull in your lower abdominals. And this is all to serve the purpose of thinking up and out. Yeah, without doing some dramatic stretch, we are actually right now giving space and length to our hip flexors, which have been crunched from all of our sitting. Great. You can bend your knees again if you want to reestablish a softness to kind of practice that feeling of whoop. I love it. Again, bend your knees, soften, and then you're going to kind of grow up through the joints, strengthening everything. And as you do that, maybe this time, once you get past the jeans, the tight zipper, maybe even your rib cage lifts a little bit and you pull in the diaphragm and you pull in that. One more time, bend your knees, soften, and again, we're thinking of filling up that energy, rising up, rising up, rising up. Maybe this time your sternum gets a little bit taller. Oh, how wonderful. Oh, I felt my stomach just like get longer there. And again, bend your knees, wiggle your toes. And again, pull through, kneecaps up, quads are firm, hip flexors are lengthening, abdominal zipper is up, the rib cage starts to lift, your sternum starts to rise, and maybe this time we get up to our shoulders and they widen a little bit. You can give a little shake, shake, shake there. And we're gonna do this one last time. Bend your knees, wiggle your toes. And again, as everything starts to lift up, 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 I'm now gonna visualize my head lifting up and off of my neck. Now I know that's not actually possible, but just thinking of the lightness of the skull allows me to choose where it's positioned. And instead of hunching over and thinking towards the computer screen or towards my instrument, I'm going to choose to place the skull right over my neck, which is right over my heart, which is right over my rib cage, or over my waist and over my hips. And just this tall, powerful standing position is helping to counter the sitting position. While we're here, let's breathe in and take the arms up overhead. And you can grab one wrist and give a little length to that side. And then switch and grab the other wrist and give a little length to that side. Good, and drop the arms down. And then I'm going to turn profile so that you can see this here. One last gentle stretch. If you bend your knees, and you can pick any leg that you want to start out with, and take that leg just a gentle step back and behind you. And you're going to keep your knees bent, and you're going to rock back and forth, knees are bent. And almost as if I was in a rocking chair, I use my feet to move forwards and back. I want to settle eventually onto my front foot, and I want to see if I can lengthen the back heel down to the ground. And while I do this, I want to keep pulling that zipper on that tight pair of jeans that I'm wearing in my imagination. I want to see if I can keep pulling that up, pulling my belly button in, knitting my rib cage close, keeping my sternum lifted, expanding in my shoulders. And I can just feel on this side, that hip flexor is getting a little bit more opening space. If you want, you can take your hands to your waist, sort of like a superhero figure, and see if you can look up at the ceiling. By doing this, you have a big stretch in the front body, and you're getting a stretch in that back calf. Bring your gaze back down to level. Bend both of your knees. You can rock gently and come back to a neutral position. And let's try with the other side. So I'm bending both of my knees. I'm going to take my other leg back into just a gentle step. Keeping both of my knees bent, I rock back, I rock forward, I rock back. I have a squeaky wooden floor here that works well with my rhythm. And the reason why I'm rocking back and forth is to kind of exercise a bit of stability and balance, shifting of my weight, but then I settle onto the front foot and I work to extend from the butt. I press the hamstrings back, I open the back of my knee, and I let that back heel melt down to the ground. Then I take my hands into a superhero posture. I try to keep my belly in, my waist in, my sternum high, my shoulders expanded, spacious from left to right. And I gently let my gaze go up to the ceiling. And I feel a great stretch in the front body and in that front hip flexor. Bring your gaze back down to level. Bend both knees and rock that back foot underneath your body. Cool. Let's see here. I think, how are we doing on time, Simon? We're doing good. All right. So let's everybody, this is just for fun. Let's everybody bend your knees and pretend like you have maracas in your hands. You know the shake, 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 shake. Yes, okay. And can you just squirm, wiggle, shake for me? So there's a couple of things going on here. My knees are bent and my feet are on the ground and my hips are kind of going left to right, side to side. Yes? Then also I have these maracas in my hands and I'm making one circle down with the right, one circle down with the left, one with the right, one with the left. So there's like a circle happening there. Then I'm also lifting up my shoulders as the maraca goes down. So it incorporates my shoulders and my spine and my rib cage. And then if I get really excited, then I'm going to have a little bit of a rotation happening. And this is pretty much dancing. You could turn on any type of music and this would probably work. But what's nice is that we just get motion and we get flow in the body, which I think is so important right now as we are sitting a lot these days. Yeah? Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Simon. Thanks for letting me take people through that. I think that was all pretty slow and pretty easy, but you know, you got to start there so that you don't hurt yourself, and there's so much more to be done.
Well, that was fantastic. Isn't she a wonderful teacher? She's an amazing teacher. You know, yeah, so really great. Thank you. You're getting a lot of wash hands here.
Oh, thanks. That's a good thing, right?
Comments. People were commenting throughout. Yes, the wash hand symbol has replaced the clapping symbol.
Oh, I love it. I get it. Yeah,
so,
that makes sense.
People were congratulating on your dancing video, first of all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
And then Carrie said, this is great, thank you. Linda said, thanks for this, very helpful for me.
Yay.
That's Linda, Scottish Linda.
Hello. Yes, of course. Yeah. Yes, of course. Well, you know, while you're going through these things, Simon, I just want to say to everybody that, you know, one of the things that I do at home, you know, because I definitely will turn on my yoga things and go through a session for myself. And something that I have found that I really enjoy, surprisingly, is going slow. as in not pushing or forcing myself to get my leg like as high as it can go. And hopefully maybe you guys also feel that same way. I think that's probably something you do in practice with guitar as well. Like, it's not about, oh, I want to get my full split, or I want to like hold this hard position. It really, right now, for me at least, it's about nurturing my body and taking care and doing gentle things to stay mobile, to stay active, and to stay happy.
Yeah, as I often say to anyone who will listen, our body is the first instrument. That's our instrument. And
Absolutely.
then any other guitar, what have you, is secondary.
Yeah.
So lots of people saying thank you. Donna saying thank you so much. Lynette, Stephen out in Colorado said thank you. Doug. There was a funny comment from Jim. He said, "No wonder Simon is such a relaxed guy," which is funny because I don't feel relaxed these days. But anyway,
Jim, he doesn't do this with me. I'm trying to convince him like he needs to stretch with me.
It's true. And he said, "I'm going to give up guitar and just do stretching and dancing."
Yes.
Nice.
That's what I do.
Matthew from Ballarat said, "Thanks. The hand stretches are the best. You're a great
Yeah.
presenter." I agree.
Thank you.
Jenny said, "Very, very, very helpful."
Definitely
need
need
stretches
stretches
every
every day.
A lot of thanks coming your way.
Yeah, any other ideas for stretching the hands and the fingers? Tendency to freeze. Well, you know, so I'm not a musician and I don't use my fingers in the way that you guys use your fingers, but this is a silly exercise, but maybe you can try this. If you know how if you were to clasp your hands like this, instead start at the fingertips like so, and you're going to use both the left hand and the right hand to squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze and release. And basically you work your way down all the way to the crux of the joint, and then you clasp. And then something that feels good here is simply press both hands out so you get a stretch like that, and then the opposite, and you can like peel open the basket or present something, yeah? And then on your way out, squeeze and release, squeeze and release, squeeze, 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 squeeze. So something that's nice is that your hands feel like they're holding each other, which is comforting. And it's a little kind of like bip, bip, bip.
Kind of looks
bip,
like you're
bip,
plotting
bip.
to take over the world.
You know it. That's the truth. And then, of course, flip. So if you start with the right index finger on top, then maybe do it again with the left index finger
Do you
on
mean
top.
alternate fingers?
Yes, I do. Me. Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to weave some sort of guitariness into this nerdy joke.
Nerdy joke. Anyways, I hope that's helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, so before we wrap up, does anyone have any questions for Evita?
Dr.
Yes.
Evil.
Yes, Dr. Evil,
Yes.
Yeah, these are stretches you can do on public transport. And when anyone asks you what
Terrible.
you're doing, you just say, "I'm a guitarist," and they'll understand immediately.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm sitting on the chair in front of the computer all the day. Jenny said it's very helpful. So great. Well,
Yeah.
does anyone,
One
yes,
more
go ahead.
thing about computer things. If you, because I do this in myself, if you put one hand on your sternum or the very top of your chest, and then if you put one hand on your chin, you should do this too, Simon.
Okay.
Yeah?
Sternum.
Yeah. So what you can do is with gentle pulses, see if you can exercise using the back of your neck muscles to bring your chin in line with your bottom hand. And then relax.
All of these are really excellent for public transport.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking.
So once again, so back, gently, and forward.
So you use your hand? You don't? I'm just doing it with my head.
You can, no, the idea is
Oh,
actually
okay.
you should use your neck muscles and your,
okay.
but this is a little gauge, the hand on your chin kind of, so that you would want to try to line them up.
Jenny made a good point that we're not traveling on public transport anymore. So any of these are perfectly, you can do them in your pajamas at home. So
I know that's not the most flattering look on anybody, but it's
man.
important. It's important that your head lives on top of your neck. And so often with our society and I don't know, just our psychology now, the head seems to reach, tend for
Especially
like,
if you're on a phone, it's always
what's
down.
over there? And so this silly exercise of like put your head back on over your head. I'm sorry, put your head back on over your neck is really beneficial for your back.
I like the yoga. I've heard it in yoga. I've heard it in other places as well. But head over heart, heart over hips.
Yeah, that's right. That's a phenomenal one too, because that, without talking about any muscles, that also kind of just syncs up all the musculature in your core, that it just makes sense. Like, oh yeah.
One last question we might field.
Yeah.
Was about, I can hear the ice cream truck outside, which I thought the other day, that melody on the ice cream truck is quite possibly the most played melody in the world. Although I do remember actually when I was young, they played Greensleeves.
Really?
Anyway.
Can y'all play that on guitar?
We can play that.
The ice cream truck
Not that
song?
one, but the Greensleeves.
No, the ice cream truck.
I should learn it.
Okay.
I digress. Wrists. Someone asked about wrists.
Oh, wrists, yeah.
Any specific exercises to help wrists?
Yeah, so my wrists, this idea comes more so from yoga, like handstands and actually putting weight on the wrists, but well, simply holding the wrist at the base of the hand and just letting it rock forwards and backwards is really therapeutic and lovely for the bones in there. You know, don't squeeze too hard, but you're just kind of supporting the rocking of the wrist back and forward.
Mine's crunching and clicking. I don't know what it
That's
means.
not good.
What does it mean? Better get back to plotting.
Get back to plotting. Another thing that I have done before for wrists is, you know, like if you just want to, oh, sorry, you can see that, yeah? The thing with wrists, you have to be very gentle, but, you know, pressing into your hands and using different degrees of pressure. And then sometimes you can rock forwards and rock back and even rock to the left and the right. You can even make circles with your wrists, but very gently. I mean, obviously, because I'm standing on my feet, I don't have that much pressure going into my wrists. And then, this is kind of wild and crazy, but I do this in yoga sometimes. Flip your hands so that you're on the back side of your hand and do a very slow and gentle but similar practice where you go forwards and you go backwards.
That's dangerous.
Well, I'm not going to put a lot of weight onto it, but what it's doing is it's countering the position of this, which can also get really tired. Yeah.
One last question. Was it from Martin asking about getting a knot on the top of my right shoulder, near the neck, top of the trapezius, by the base of my neck?
Even
getting
though
a knot
I'm
up there.
trying
I have one that exists for decades in my left side. So, I mean...
Well, you know your fingers with the itsy bitsy spider. You guys know that song, the itsy bitsy spider went up the water spite.
No.
Down came the rain. Okay, so the itsy bitsy spider fingers. You don't need a lot of pressure, but if you simply spend a good 2 minutes with your fingers just walking around the place where it hurts, you'd be surprised how therapeutic this is to bringing blood flow and relaxation and attention to that spot. I think sometimes, and I'm making this up, but I believe it. But I mean, I believe it as a dancer from experience with my body hurting. I believe that knots and pain oftentimes comes from a lack of awareness and recognition of that part of the body. So for example, if something is sore and hurting you, yes, of course, you might have hurt yourself or strained it or overused it or you're stressing it all the time. But if you can bring more thoughtfulness and awareness to whatever that spot is that hurts, whether it's massaging it, moving it, just thinking about it, just being aware of it, it can actually help the body let go of some of the fear and tension that has developed there. That's what I have found.
Well, thank you, Evita. It's 5 o'clock on the dot.
Oh, good
I promised
timing.
that I would let Evita get out of class early. Well, on time.
Get out of class early on
Yeah.
time.
So thank you. I'm gonna do the wash hands like everyone does in the chat. Wash hands symbol.
This is so cool. I like that.
Well, I think it looks like clapping, and people often mistake it. So we just went with it, and now everyone does the washing hands.
I think that's cool.
So thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Maybe you'll stretch with me later.
maybe. All right, everyone. Well, it's what is it? It's Thursday, so I'll see you next Tuesday for the CGC show, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
Tuesday and Thursdays
The
at 4
CGC
p.m.
live stream.
The live stream, yeah. Thank you for sticking around, and thank you for all the kind words, and thank you to Evita.
Thanks, everybody. If you have any comments or wishes, let Simon know, because maybe we can incorporate those into the actual master class that we filmed for the website.
Very good. All right. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.